Hello folks and friends. This weekend I wanted to create something unique and I wanted to make a clay sculpture, but I didn't really have an idea. So today what we are going to be doing is a randomized clay sculpture. Now I've done at least 2 of these in the past, but this time I want to go a little bit more in detail and go a little bit creative with it. But anyways, let's just get right to it. Well, first of all, to start this creation, we need to make its features, so let's get right to it. In my last randomized creation, the feature creating was all over the place, so today I decided to make it easier for you guys to read. As you just saw, we already got the tuxedo and the horse legs as the features for the creation. He will also have to be bald, and he will have a regular nose, luckily. Now this feature is what gave me the hesitation to do this creation, which is no eyes. But either way, I pushed myself through it until I saw this cat mouth. I did not know how I was going to add both of them into the creation, but luckily I got the guitar as the item. Once I had the idea figured out in my head, because I don't ever sketch anything before I actually make it, we can actually start working on the creation itself. I wanted to create a manitar sort of looking creation for this, which a manitar is basically just a man mixed with a horse. The way we'll be doing this is adding a wire right through the torso and making it as his arms. Once we have the wire stuck inside the body, we can start covering it up in foil. And now it's time to add the clay. Since I haven't sculpted in a month, it's a huge relief to actually start using clay again. Anyways, what we're doing right now is just layering the whole thing in clay, and then we'll start adding details from there. Now I am planning on making more randomized clay sculptures throughout this year, but this will be the first one of them. Once we cover the whole thing in clay, we can start adding the detail. Now first off, I'm working on the tuxedo. Because this was the first creation of this year, I really wanted to go into detail. And since the first part of detailing was the tuxedo, I tried to go all out for this. But later you'll see that none of it is worth it. Anyways, once we have the sleeves figured out, we can start working on the hands. Now I will be making more details on the tuxedo by making wrinkles. Because of how unstable this creation was, I had to add more clay to the bottom. But I did it in a way where it looks like it is meant to be a part of the creation. Now before I went any further, I decided to make the guitar already just so I could see where it's going to be positioned. Once we got the shape of this guitar, we can start adding the clay over it. Now I didn't show it here, but I did make the hole for the middle of the guitar. Then we can add it to the creation. Then this is where all the detail gets covered. Once we have it in its final position that we want, then we can put it into the oven to bake. Once it's finished baking, we can start working on the second layer. The first thing I want to do is cover the base again with another layer of clay. Off camera, I did stick a toothpick in the neck before baking, just so I could figure out where the head was going to be placed. And where there's a neck, there's a head, so unfortunately we need to start making the head. I start off with the easiest thing, which is the regular nose. And remember, there aren't any eyes, so I'm not going to be making those. Next, I'm going to be making the ears. And then unfortunately comes the cat mouth. I didn't know how to do this, and I almost wanted to give up, and I needed inspiration. I looked around, and that's when it struck. I didn't realize it until now. That I had a reference right in front of me. And after all of this, it still didn't turn out how I wanted. Anyways, let's just keep on going on with the creation. After adding a few more details on the body, I'm going to add details to the base. And now it's time to bake it for the second and the last time. Once it's out of the oven, we can finally start painting it. Now while this creation was baking, it couldn't hold itself up, so it started cracking, so I had to glue it back together. But once I did, I started getting right into painting by starting off with the horse legs. After a few coats of that, I started getting into the guitar painting. For the hooves, I decided to mix a little bit of brown with black to get this color. Then with the remaining black that I had, I decided to use it for the tuxedo. And to add more detail to everything, I decided to give it all a wash, which is to basically add a darker color to some kind of creation and use a little bit of water for it. And then I just dab it all with a little bit of paper towel just to clean it off. Now as you just saw, I did paint the hands, and I am going to be painting the face the same color. While doing this, I almost forgot to actually paint the details for the guitar as well. To let everything dry off, I decided to go paint the base. So, this creation was a very odd one. Well, most of the features that I added, I did not want for this creation. But since I got them, well, then I had to do it. But there are many flaws to this creation itself. One of them being the eyes. I think not having an expression which doesn't really show the expression that this character has. Another thing is a cat mouth. First of all, I did not want it. And second of all, once I did make it, I did not like it. And lastly is the paint job. I think I could have done a lot better at painting this thing. But I think I was just trying to finish this on time and trying to rush through it, which you should never do on a creation. And it just ended up not ending up as good as I wanted it to. The thing that I liked most about this creation was the guitar. But anyways guys, if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already, and comment what I should do next. But just have a good rest of the weekend, guys. Bye. Sorry, did you record?
Yes.
Okay.